Now, for the longest time, I always felt like I was organizing and cleaning rather than spending time actually sitting down and crafting. So I'm going to share some of my top tips on how I'm able to reduce the amount of time I'm cleaning and organizing, still maintain an amazing space, and spend a lot more time being creative. Let's dive in. Now, this is a habit I got forced into since my space was always in an open area that other people used. I felt slightly obligated to clean it up after each card. I also found that when I didn't, cleaning became overwhelming. If I left the mess, I found myself finding other things to do rather than being creative, because starting my creative time by cleaning was probably the least motivating thing ever. Now, I'm a big fan of the 10-minute timer. I do this around the house as well, and I'm trying to get into the habit of doing it daily. I set a timer for 10 minutes. My goal is to not completely finish cleaning an area or organizing it. It's really not that long. I dedicate just simply 10 minutes, and you'd be surprised what you can accomplish. For those 10 minutes, I'm fully invested in cleaning up as much as I can. No distractions. It's super easy, especially if you follow the next tip. Every object needs to have its own place. If it doesn't, things will start to get slipped into drawers where they don't belong. I recommend taking the time to find a place for everything. You can put temporary labels using some removable tape if you don't want to permanently label anything. And remove the labels when you've learned where your stuff is. I really find that when I clean up and I know exactly where everything needs to go, it's just so much easier and takes next to no time because I'm not always just trying to find whatever space I have. Having dedicated boxes in my room has helped me so much as well. They might be a bit of a mess on the inside, but at least I know everything I need for that specific technique is in there. Stop organizing things you don't use. It just doesn't make sense. I don't encourage anyone to be a minimalist. Love what you have. But if you find yourself hoarding more than you're using, give this tip a try and give decluttering a chance. You'd be surprised how much your creative time might be increased, and obviously you'll be reducing the amount of cleaning and organizing you're doing because you won't have as many things. Put a post-it note onto a stamp or a die when you receive it and write the date on it. Every time you use that stamp, put a tick on the post-it note. You'll be surprised that after a few years down the line, you'll be so much more ready and willing to purge a few things out of your room because you've narrowed down your personal style and you realize that certain stamps tend to just sit there. And of course, you're going to see that there's certain things in your craft room you haven't touched. Try scheduling a craft, clean, and prep in your calendar every 6 months. This is a few hours, maybe in the evening when I'm by myself, that I dedicate to getting my craft room stocked and in working order. I may clean some tools like my stamping tools. I may clean the fibers out of my paper trimmer, change the blades, refill my ink pads, or maybe pre-cut some cardstock for bases and die cutting. Taking a dedicated time to do this will make crafting with a grab and go system so much easier. It's much more productive to cut yourself 50 card bases in 10-20 minutes with your paper trimmer than to pull out your paper trimmer every single time you make a card and cut yourself a card base. Now, keep in mind, a lot of these things are habits that you need to build up slowly, and you'll probably fail at them from time to time. Keep working at it. Eventually, it will become second nature, like me leaving my surface empty when I'm done. When my craft room gets too full, I have too many choices, which leads to frustration. I have a set amount of space for my craft items. For example, I have this box dedicated to Christmas supplies. If I have no room, I have to part with something before I can buy something new for the box. My stamps are kept in these photo boxes. I have 4 dedicated to my stamps. Realistically, this is probably more than what I really need, but I find a comfort in knowing what kind of space I have to deal with and that my supplies aren't pouring into other rooms of the house or dark corners or backs of drawers never to be seen again. I also know that when these 4 boxes are full, it's probably time to part with a few of my stamps. One of my favorite things to organize my supplies in is binders. I love how they are kept neat and I can flip through them and I can store so many different things. Now meet me over in this video over here where I show you how I store my ink blending sponges, and guess what? I store my dies and my stencils as well in these binders. They're so handy. See you over there.